The App Store has been labeled a monopoly by authorities in a number of nations, including the United States, the European Union, and Australia. In a collective action lawsuit, presently making its way through the U.S. judicial system, Apple has been accused of abusing its dominant status to charge exorbitant prices for its apps. Apple's 30% cut of many in-app purchases is at the root of this whole mess. You're watching YouTube channel Let's Get Techie. In today's video, we are going to discuss the truth about how Apple monopolized the App Store. So make sure to watch the video till the end. And if you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon, so you won't miss any future videos we upload. Every ambitious app developer holds the hope that one day their app will be downloaded by millions of users and result in a windfall of financial success. After its release in 2009, the Angry Birds video game quickly became a hit all over the world and grossed $10 million in its first year of availability. However, when taken as a whole, the figures make it very evident that making money through mobile apps is not a sure way to get rich. According to a study, only 0.5% of consumer apps are successful commercially. To get people's attention, developers have to compete with the over 2 million apps available on the Apple Store. The App Store is the only means by which apps can be distributed on Apple's iPhone and iPad platforms. Up until very recently, both Apple and Google's online marketplaces levied a 30% commission fee. Both companies, though, cut their prices in half for most small businesses and independent app developers in response to lawsuits. For example, the video game company Epic Games sued Apple in 2020, claiming that Apple illegally controls the market. Even if Epic Games was unsuccessful, Apple was forced to put changes to its app stores on hold. The appeal of both Epic Games and Apple cannot be denied. A comparable lawsuit has been lodged by Epic Games against Google, and it is scheduled to be heard in court in 2023. The standards regarding privacy, security, and even the types of apps that can be created are decided by the app stores. There have been reports of Apple allegedly Sherlocking independent software developers. Developers make an app, but not long after, the Apple platform adds the app's features to its main operating system. This makes the app's creator's product useless. In 2019, a third-party app known as FlickType was developed as a keyboard for use on iPhones and Apple Watches. Shortly after that, Apple reportedly conveyed to the developer that keyboards for the Apple Watch would not be permitted. And surprisingly, shortly after that, Apple themselves announced their own app with similar features. The development of a single app can take anywhere from 3 to 9 months, and the cost of constructing a minimal viable product can range anywhere from $30,000 to $400,000. The development of certain apps can take far longer than this. In 2021, a group of software developers headquartered in the United Kingdom launched a collective action lawsuit against Apple, alleging that the company's store fees violated their contractual rights. The European Commission informed Apple that it had misused its position and harmed competition in the music streaming business. The European Commission also told Apple that its restrictions on app developers make it hard for them to tell users about cheaper apps. For instance, when Apple develops a music app, competitors like Spotify say that this creates an unfair advantage for them. They are required to pay Apple, their competitor and the company that operates the store platform, 15% or 30% of the revenues that they make through the Apple Store. Apple had a rule that Spotify couldn't tell its users about cheaper ways to subscribe, like through its website. This rule was lifted just recently. According to a report published by the United Kingdom's Competition and Markets Authority, there are growing worries that large technology companies like Apple are stifling innovation and limiting competition. One of the most important things that we discovered was that Apple forbids any alternatives to the App Store for native app distribution on iOS, which gives the company a monopoly on native app downloads on its devices. It is anticipated that the final report on their comprehensive market study will be ready in the closing months of 2022. The government of the United Kingdom has committed to passing new legislation when parliamentary time allows for it. The Digital Markets Act of the European Union may become operational as early as the spring of 2023. The legislation is meant to open up mobile platforms by enabling users to install applications sourced from alternative shops. It is also meant to make sure that App Store owners don't put their own products and services ahead of those from third-party developers. In February of 2022, a panel of the United States Senate voted in favor of a bill that would regulate app stores. But not much has been done in that regard up till now. Apart from that, the app review methods used by both Apple and Google, which examine applications created by third-party developers before making those applications available to users, have come under fire for a lack of transparency, inconsistency, and general inequity. When they go up against multinational corporations worth billions of dollars, independent software developers have no real power. Apple has also been criticized for not giving enough information about why it takes apps off its store, which has led to more criticism. When Apple thought about letting apps from other stores be installed on its devices, it was worried about privacy and safety. In fact, the review processes of app stores can make an effort to ensure that apps adhere to their respective privacy policies. The vast majority of users, though, don't read these, and most people don't know how much apps can access and share their data. It is likely that third-party app stores will result in a trade-off between the freedom of users and the safety of users. There is a possibility that some users will prefer Apple's approach to privacy. Others may prefer a more open experience where they can download apps made by smaller, independent developers who don't have to jump through the hoops that the bigger app stores make them do in order to make their software. The fact of the matter is that it is possible to give users this choice. Evidence from lawsuits shows that Apple originally planned to support running apps from outside of its App Store. The Digital Markets Act could persuade Apple to change its position, but unless it is implemented correctly, it won't be able to deliver results for users and developers. It appears that the European Commission will soon take on the role of a specialized regulator for the first time in its history. However, this process will take some time, and the Commission will have to build a team that is large enough to provide effective monitoring and enforcement. The news broke in June that the number of apps available on the Apple App Store had been reduced from 4 million to 2 million due to the developers' refusal to pay Apple, their competitor, 15% or 30% of revenue for the usage of the store platform. Apple's claims that it needs to keep control over app distribution to keep its customers safe and protect their privacy are also not true. In fact, Apple forbids apps and features that would serve a wider range of those needs, such as VPN apps for international travelers and apps that tell the user if their device has been jailbroken. Despite the fact that Apple claims that only its authoritarian approach to user security and privacy can protect users, Apple also claims that its approach is the only one that can protect users' privacy. In a broader sense, the antitrust rules are founded on the premise that competition is the best way to generate better and safer products. As a result, Apple's argument that increased levels of competition would be damaging to users is likewise an insufficient reason. Last but not least, the legal battle between Epic and Apple sheds light on the monopolization of the mobile application infrastructure. However, the solutions to this issue are not within the scope of the antitrust law's capabilities. The antitrust law, in simple terms, is not able to cater to the current scenario. A regulatory solution needs to come from Congress or European Union, and they need to act now. That's all for today's video, guys. What do you think of today's video and Apple monopolization? Tell us your views in the comments section. Thank you very much for taking the time to watch this video. See you in the next video. Until then, best wishes.